of ammunition that shooters are allowed to use when they kill wild game birds. This is the problem. This is a lead cartridge, and you can see inside the shot, this is what kills the birds. What doesn't end up in the birds killing them goes on the ground, and then birds end up ingesting them, and once they're inside them, that's what poisons them. We've got some pictures here of a duck that was taken here at Slimbridge, and you can see the effects that lead poisoning can have of serious lack of coordination, and the prospects for that duck may not be very promising. Well, with us now is Chris Parents from Oxford University, who studied the impact of lead poisoning on swans in particular. Morning to you, Chris.
Good morning.
This was banned, wasn't it, using lead shot over wetland areas in England more than 10 years ago. What's the evidence that it's still causing a problem?
Well, the evidence is pretty clear. If you go to the markets and buy mallard, which are locally sourced, 70% of them have been killed with lead shot.
What do you want to see happen?
I want lead shot stopped, banned. It's a very toxic substance. We're learning more and more about it for us, not just for the birds. It shouldn't be used.
Also, this is David Taylor from the Countryside Alliance, the shooting campaign manager. David, you heard it very clearly there. The evidence is overwhelming. It's time for lead shots to be banned.
Well, there was obviously past evidence several years ago about non-compliance. We've had rules in for about 10 years now, and compliance is getting better and better. The regulations are there to protect the birds, to make sure this doesn't happen. And I think it's getting better and better every year. So I don't think there's any evidence whatsoever to suggest that we should ban lead full stop across wetlands and all areas. Just there are regulations based in the wetlands, and we should keep them in the wetlands.
70% of the current mallard that are brought in, as of last winter, are still shot with lead. There's no signs of any change at all.
So compliance, isn't there? You think shooters are still using lead over wetland areas?
Well, if they're shooting mallard, even if they weren't over wetland areas, it's still illegal.
What would the impact be if lead shot was banned everywhere?
Well, it would have a huge impact for shooting. Shooting itself is an industry that's worth about £1.6 billion to the UK economy. The alternatives that are available don't match on price. Lots of people wouldn't shoot as much, and I think it would have a big impact on the rural economy and the amount of conservation work that is done by shooting interests.
Chris?
I just don't think that's true at all. I mean, we had the same precision with angling, and they said, oh, we couldn't do this, couldn't do that. OK, we didn't have guns with the angling, but, you know, the industry is there. We're not trying to stop it at all. And it will adjust, but only if it's forced to.
There are alternatives on there, David. Why can't you use steel?
Steel is a very different subject. The problem is most guns that we've got on the market today aren't capable of using steel. And you know, if we were to change to alternatives such as steel, lots of people who do shoot would have to buy new guns. It would be a very expensive exercise, and I think people would stop shooting before they do that.
David, Chris, thank you both very much for running out of time. Just a flavour of the ongoing debate that there is with campaigners saying they do want lead shot banned completely, shooters saying no, they don't want it. Back to you.
All right, Graham.